everyone and welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be a hearing aid update. So I appreciate that this might not be interesting for everyone or useful for everyone, but if you would like to find out more then keep watching. So I have had hearing aids now for about 3 weeks. I've had one battery change, so that, yeah, it must be 3 weeks because they run out of batteries about every 2 weeks if you were wondering. And I did an update, you know, before, I did an update immediately after, and this is going to be an update, you know, a few weeks in. You know, how have I adjusted? Is it normal to me now? As in, you know, like, am I used to it? Is it my version of normal? And, you know, just talk about them, like whether they are useful, whether I think my hearing is like much better with them in, whether there are any bugbears, because there are some, and a few people have been asking me, so I thought I would get this video done, especially to, you know, hopefully encourage other people if they have hearing loss, whether mild, moderate or extreme. Like, you know, there is light on the other side of getting them and everything is going to be okay. So I think immediately my biggest problem once getting them was the fact that it was quite overwhelming. I felt like I had a massive sensory overload, like I just couldn't quite process everything. And for the weeks that followed, I would say the first 2 weeks in particular, I did get very, very sort of frustrated at times, whether my family was being too noisy, which was 2 children, you know, it's a given, of course they're going to be too noisy. That's just like their normal setting is too noisy. And then there were times, say, in the car when like traffic was very loud, or when television was too loud, or music was too loud, and I found myself, you know, either taking it out on the people that were around me because I was like, will you just shut up, or getting really frustrated, or just having to rip them out of my ears or like leave the room. And that is frustrating because it is a new sort of way of experiencing the world, if that makes sense. I can't adjust these hearing aids in the way that your hearing naturally adjusts itself. They are set to be automatic and to tune into the area that they're in and like the surroundings that they're in. So if there are very loud noises, then they will try and reduce the noise to accommodate for that. But they don't have the sensitivity that the human ear has, and that's a given because like I have bionic ears now, and it's cool. They aren't as good as the real thing, but they're certainly better than being hard of hearing and struggling to hear people. But over time, I would say particularly this last week or so, I have found it a lot easier to keep them in all the time. I don't tend to notice them anymore. I did find it quite like tickly at first, and I'd always go and like tickle my ear, and then I've realised there was something in there, and I'd be like, oh right, yeah, that's why. And that can be a little bit annoying sometimes, but I do find it relatively okay. Everything is a lot crisper and sharper, and my voice even has sometimes sounded a little bit strange to me, but I am getting there. I would say the person's voice who is the strangest was Williams, my little boy Bill. His voice at first was just very shrill and very different and almost quite tinny, whereas now it sounds like a lot more like normal to me. Daisy's cry can be a nightmare sometimes. If she's crying, she's like upset or she's shouting, it almost like makes my hearing aids have a bit of a tiz because you can just tell that they're getting a little bit of feedback. But for the most part it's fine. I'm still able to use my phone, I'm still able to listen to music. It's a pleasure to have things turned down much more quietly because, you know, I don't have to whack it up anymore and risk waking the kids at night and things like that. So that's been a real pleasure. I have found that I haven't really ever had to ask someone to repeat themselves at all, which at first when I was talking to people I'd be like really leaning in and listening, and then I realised I don't need to do this anymore. I don't have to make eye contact with you anymore. I don't have to stare at your lovely lips. I can just listen, and that was incredible. It's been so nice to sort of just relax into conversations and not be self-conscious about having to ask like excuse me or pardon, and I do feel like my confidence has come out of itself a bit more. I actually didn't realise how much my lack of hearing was affecting me, which was a shame really. The issues I want to say, like the few things that I do have with them is, firstly, because they are behind my ear, things like tucking my hair behind my ear you can see it doesn't stay there very long, and there isn't enough room, so my hair will often just like be like this, and this is how I'm spending my life now, like, hi, I'm Charlotte, please to me. So, you know, curvy grips have featured in my life a lot more, but that's annoying because it's such a natural habit, and I'm like, well, you just stay there, and it doesn't. Sunglasses again is another one. Like, it's that time of year where like it's nice and bright and sunny, and they fit, but it's quite uncomfortable to have like so much gear behind your ear. I have gotten into the shower a few times and then gone like this to wet my hair, and then gone shit, and like ripped them out of my ear and like thrown them across the bathroom in panic that I've broken them. Like, you know, touch wood, they're not broken yet, but that's a bit irritating because I just feel like one day I'm going to break them, and I do need to sort of get into the habit of removing them. Another thing was the first time they ran out of battery and I started hearing random beeping noises, and I honestly thought I'd lost my mind. I was like, what was that? What was that? Can you hear that? And it was, I just felt like an idiot, and I realised it was my hearing aid, like, yo, need a new battery up in here, you might want to go and get one. So that was a little bit, like, it was funny more than anything. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, while there's a little gripes that do annoy me, I do feel like I've settled in quite well with them. If anyone has noticed that I'm wearing them, they haven't said anything. And I have worn my hair up, I have worn my hair down. I've been like open with people. If they've asked like how I am, I said, oh yeah, I've got hearing aids recently, do you want to see? And I find like that's the best way to be. So mine are quite small, and the size of them differs based on your hearing loss, so at least that's what I was told. They're very, very like, they're tiny really. Like, in comparison to my face, they're not massive, they're not offensive, they're skin coloured to match my skin, and I don't really find it too problematic, in all honesty. It's just an adjustment, isn't it? Getting something that shows that you need help in a certain way is never going to be an easy thing to do, because nobody wants to be different, nobody wants to ask for help a lot of the time. But a few weeks on, if you're watching this and you've got hearing loss, please don't wait around, because I mean, look at me. Do you look at me right now and do you judge me and do you think, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's got hearing aids? Or do you think any differently of me? Because I hope not. Like, I'm still exactly the same person. In fact, I'm better because I'm able to hear you properly, and my quality of life has improved as a result of that, more than I would actually, you know, give it credit for. At the time, I didn't think that hearing better would be that big of a deal, but apparently it is. And it's amazing the noises you do pick up on. Like, I could always hear birdsong and certain things like that, but I hear everything so much more vibrantly. It's almost like my ears are hearing in colour now, and before it was black and white, and that's ever so poetic, but that's honestly what it feels like. So if you're in this position, then go and talk to your GP, ask for a hearing test referral, and get yourself on that path. It might be that you don't need anything at all, it might be that you do need hearing aids, but embrace it and take advantage of the fantastic opportunity that is available to you through the NHS to have better hearing, because I can't be more grateful for this like second chance at being able to hear people properly again. And yeah, that is that is the gist of it. I hope this video was helpful and gave you a bit of an insight into what it's like. I promise you haven't got anything to be afraid of. So if this is you watching and you need hearing aids, then go for it. Or if you've got a friend or family member that you think might need a lot of help in that department, then show them this video and tell them from me that it's going to be okay. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in a video very soon. Bye!